Today we will look at another instance of Potholer-54 not knowing what he says. This is a video by Potholer uh, of September 18, 2019. In the description of the video, Potholer says, once we stop adding CO2 to the atmosphere, the forcing will stop, but feedbacks will continue, adding further warming until the Earth reaches equilibrium temperature. Here, Potholer is talking about the feedback theory, in which it is believed that there are some other phenomena associated with increased CO2 or temperature which lead to further warming even if one stops addition of CO2 in the atmosphere. To understand more about this feedback, we'll have to see the video which Potholer-54 is talking about. This is a screenshot from the video. Here Potholer says or mentions in his point that because the Earth's climate feedback is less than 1, the feedback effect gets less and less over time. Think of an echo that bounces around a canyon. Here, Potholer tells us something more about this feedback. This feedback has a coefficient that is less than 1. Now, let us take a look at another of Potholer-54's video.
Climatologists not only know that CO2 blocks outgoing heat through experiment, but they can also measure exactly how much. That's how they know that a doubling of CO2 from pre-industrial levels will lead to a rise in average global temperatures of about 1 degree centigrade. And that's what carbon dioxide does. When CO2 is put into the air, it doesn't fall straight back down again. About half of it dissolves in water and half stays in the atmosphere. It accumulates. That's why CO2 concentrations in the atmosphere have been steadily rising since the start of the Industrial Revolution 200 years ago. So CO2 warms the atmosphere, and a warmer atmosphere holds more water vapor, which increases temperatures further. The basic laws of physics tell us that the Earth will heat up in response to this extra energy, and the temperature will keep rising until the increased amount of energy radiated out matches the amount coming in, what's called equilibrium. The temperature will eventually stabilize at a higher level. What will that higher level be? Well, you can estimate it with computer models, sure, but you can also do it through other methods, including looking back at the effect CO2 had in the past. And these estimates show that for a doubling of CO2 concentrations, we should see a rise in global temperatures of between 2 and 4.5 degrees.
In this video, Potholer-54 presents the calculated temperature change due to just the effect of doubling of CO2. And this temperature change comes to around 1 degree Celsius. Then he presents a temperature change with effect of water vapor included, and he explains that in that clip. This is around 2 to 4.5 degrees Celsius for doubling of CO2. Thus, the added effect of water vapor is around 1 to 3.5 degrees Celsius. However, we saw just before that Potholer-54 had argued that Earth's climate feedback is less than 1. If that is indeed the case, how can the effect of water vapor in raising the temperature be more than the effect of CO2? This doesn't make any sense. If the climate feedback is less than 1, then the total effect of all feedback systems working after the CO2 increment has stopped would be less than the increment caused by the CO2 alone. But this is not what happens. In fact, Potholer himself states or concurs with the scientific opinion, or supposedly scientific opinion, that water vapor actually raises the temperature more than the CO2, though it comes after the CO2 addition has already taken place. This shows that Potholer-54 does not even know what positive feedback is. I already covered a certain part of it in my previous videos, but this is actually a killer argument because it uses Potholer-54's direct statements. He's contradicting himself. His own videos, if you take them together, do not present a coherent view of the climate reality. And it is given because the climate scientists themselves do not agree on most of the things that they say. However, this point is crucial because the effect of feedback is necessary for us to understand the impact of climate change or global warming. And because global warming and climate change is being used to push a political agenda, it is important to know the truth. However, Potholer-54 himself does not see this apparent contradiction, or he has some justification ready in his mind, which would be interesting to hear. What is, however, easily visible is that Potholer-54 has no expertise even in identifying basic things about these equations or these claims. He just reads off the studies done by others. He is just the gatekeeper for these climate scientists.